we appreciate the support. We just want everybody to understand why we're doing it, and that there's nothing nefarious about it. We don't do it because we're getting rich. Same reason you guys don't do it. We do it because we love it, because we wouldn't know any other way. And what else would we do? So I'm going to be on my best behavior today. I did get a lot of people liking when we blow up. People like that real emotion, but we got some good stuff to talk about. I feel good. Let's talk a bit about our guest. Kyle Steckley is still rolling up the racing charts.
Oh, I just lost Clint's audio. Spencer, did we lose Clint, or is it just me? Okay, so we lost Clint's audio. Kyle Steckley coming off competition this weekend at Five Flags Speedway in Florida with the ASA series. So we're going to have Kyle on and chat. Dave McKnight Jr. There we go. I hear you, Clint.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with this. I may have a bad cable here. You got me again? We're good? Okay.
Yeah, we got you. Talked about Kyle racing at Five Flags. Dave McNight Jr., for those who don't know, this is a guy who has raced everything. I mean, TQ midgets, I shouldn't say everything. If it's fast and takes big cojones to drive it, Dave McNight has done really well in it. Super modifieds, TQ midgets, sprint cars, and he's passionate about working on the stuff. He's passionate about working out himself and being in the best condition he can be in, and he's had a long career.
Yeah, for sure. I got talking to Dave at Motorama, and he was talking about,
we lost him again. So Clint, I would throw that whole assembly out. You don't have a window down there in your office, but I wish you did. So Clint will keep working on that, and I really appreciate. We got a lot of comments on the G-Force post about what is the role of an announcer. Got a lot of comments on the share that I made, so I'm going to go between the G-Force TV Facebook page and my own Facebook page to share people's opinions, because it's been behind the scenes. It's been an ongoing conversation for a number of weeks. And we'll sort of fill you in as to why as we go along, but people have different suggestions that they're making on how we can, what we should do, how we should structure mostly our Friday night Ash Weekend program. And we just wanted to bring into the mix how many different factors go in to what we talk about and how we talk about it, and what matters and what doesn't matter. So it was interesting to get people's opinions. I would love, well, Alvars, so you didn't comment on the Facebook post, so we'll let you chime in here in the comments, and please, anybody chime in on the comments on the show. What is the most important role of an announcer at a speedway? So what is their job? What are they there to do? And in fact, while we wait for Clinton to come back, I'm going to read through some of the responses that we got on the G-Force page. If it will load, there we go. Brian Wilson said it's to get the crowd amped up and excited about the race. Mark De Silva says it's to keep the audience involved and entertained during and between racing. And I thought that was a great point, that it's people can actually hear us between the races. During the races at the track, it's hard to hear what the announcers are saying, but between the races is really when you get to put the value out there and have an audience that's capable of hearing what you have to say. Brendan Doherty, I thought his answer was pretty interesting. Have fun, interact with the audience where possible, be knowledgeable about the racers and history, tell jokes only if select few will get, because why not? You're a lot of things all in one. So interesting notion from Brendan, because I can hear you, Clinton, one of the cardinal rules, maybe it's not a cardinal rule, you should avoid inside jokes because you alienate certain people, but it makes it so much funnier when some people are in on it and most of the world is not. Jim Irvin, another great announcer, says inform the audience what is happening, make the race and environment exciting for everyone. Tell the story of the drivers, the series, the drivers to watch, especially if someone is on a roll. An announcer can never assume all the audience knows what's going on. It's our job to tell the story. Tyler says eliciting excitement and keeping audiences informed. So Clint, just going through some of the answers that we've had on what an announcer's role is, and I'm gonna throw this out there. In my opinion, there is actually only one correct answer, even though all the feedback, all the input we've got is valid and interesting. There's only one right answer, and it's not mine. This comes from Dave Moody, who I think is fair to say is the godfather of racetrack announcers. Wouldn't you agree, Clint?
For sure. I mean, Moody's got it going on. Been around forever. He's kind of the one that a lot of us up and coming guys kind of looked up to as the standard. There's a few guys out there. I think you mentioned Pat Patterson and a couple of these other guys over the years, but definitely one of the top guys.
So we won't give you Dave Moody's answer just yet. We'll save that for a little later. And like Albert says, too often the announcer's information is not accurate. That's been bothering me more recently. And not even that it's not accurate. When they call replays, look at what's going on, understand what's going on. We don't have to know everything about racing, but you have to understand the basic principle of what is happening when cars make contact with each other and crash. There is almost always a cause and effect. Just watch it and call it. Don't make it up in your head. Pay attention and call what you're seeing.
Now, the big thing that we hear, not the big thing, but we have heard that with the TV stuff, some of the announcings of the sponsors has gone away out of it. And we looked at this, and this is a big discussion we've had internally about how when you and I did some timing on the air off the air last week, I don't remember what the exact times were, but we figured if you wanted to announce 3 sponsors of every race team in our Sweden Speedway year, you're looking at a half an hour of just straight drivel, if I can say it that way. And
you're looking at half an hour of added time to the show.
That's if we stop for you guys to get them all in.
So, and that's where the conversation started, because it even got some of us fired up in the background. Because the criticism I thought was constructive, even though not everybody did. And it's a matter of, we need to do justice to, number one, we are beholden to the track sponsors. But the team sponsors, I mean, it's important that we acknowledge them as well. But it's also important that as race teams, get us your information. Sure, you can say shame on me or shame on whoever the announcer is for not getting out to see every race team. We have 120 teams at Ohsweken. I don't get to talk to 120 race teams every Friday. Don't assume we know what's going on in your race car and your racing program. We don't. Greg and I are both very accessible. Facebook Messenger. If you ask me for my cell phone number, I will give you my cell phone number. I love it when people feed me information or correct me. If we make a mistake, we want to get shit right. So we're happy to be corrected, but there is some onus on you as a racer or as someone supporting a racer to get us the information we need to do our job.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I want to rebuttal that, but I also think we should get to Kyle Steckley. So let's get to Kyle Steckley. We'll get back to this discussion about the announcers, because I do have a response for where we should be going and where we could go, but I don't think we're headed that way. Kyle Steckley, welcome to the program. We appreciate your time once again. Another solid run in Florida. Is 7th a great run for you? Are you happy with that to come home? Or obviously, as a race, we know you want better, but you have to set realistic goals when you race down south. How do you feel about 7th?
Yeah, I think it doesn't necessarily reflect our weekend. I'm really happy with how our weekend went. I think we had really good speed, something that, we haven't came into a race with, unloading strong in the past couple of months. So just to unload strong, have a really fast car, and be able to have a really solid weekend is definitely a positive. And I'll take a 7th, but running up there in 3rd and battling with the top guys, like we were that weekend, it was really good to be back up there and showing our speed.
Now, at what point, Kyle, are you going to show up and expect to win every week? Like, how many times do you have to visit these racetracks with this program? Because I know when you race in Ontario, you show up expecting to win at most tracks we go to. I don't think that's true of all tracks, but almost all of them. What's it going to take for you to have that same confidence down south?
I think we're getting there. I mean, we've been working really hard as a team. Obviously, last year was almost every weekend that I raced with them as a new track. So starting to go to some similar tracks and really starting to build on our program and work on these Port City race cars. I think we've made some big gains in the past, month, really. So keep working away at that and just get a little bit more confidence in myself, the car, and I think we have a great program. I'm confident in our program down there, but I think we can just get our car a little bit better yet, get me a little bit better, and have some consistent, solid, top 10, top 5 runs, and then I'll be right there hoping to go to the track and win every weekend. I still go to win every weekend now, but, it's obviously a super tough field, and it's the best of the best racing every single weekend. So, it's not easy, and we've been hard at it, and we'll get there. It just takes some time.
Well, you're certainly showing up there. It's got to feel good to beat a guy like Bubba Pollard and these guys that we all grew up kind of watching the last decade or so. Kyle, let's ask you today's discussion. What's the main duty of a racetrack announcer?
I think, honestly, to intrigue the fans more. That's the fans are listening to the announcers while the race is going, so the announcer kind of plays a big role in what the fans are watching, what the fans are looking at, and how they perceive the races. So, I mean, if they can make it show, put on a bit of a story for the fans, then I think they're doing their job right.
That's a good answer. And it's funny, Clinton, because when you ask a race car driver, the last thing they do is listen to what the announcers are saying. Like, talk to a race car driver's mom. She'll tell us exactly how to do our job.
For sure.
Hey, Kyle, where's your mom?
She's at home right now.
We'll get her on one of these weeks.
Yeah, she'd probably have a lot to say. She listens to you at every race. So.
Oh my, that scares the shit out of me.
I got one for you, Kyle. Let's talk about the guys at Red Jones. They seem to be expanding this racing portfolio. We hear lots of news all the time. What is it like for you being an up-and-coming guy, working with an organization that is up-and-coming itself and putting all of its, upsizing instead of downsizing its racing? It's got to make you feel good.
Yeah, it's definitely special. I think I'm in a great place with the group, and obviously Terry and Mark and the whole group there have been nothing but great to me, and I think we're heading in a great direction. So, I mean, things take time, and obviously we're hard at work down there. I've spent a ton of time down in Mooresville working at the shop and with all the guys. So I think it's headed in a really good direction, and excited to be a part of it and just see where it takes me.
I have a feeling I know where you want it to take you, Kyle. How long do you think it's going to take to get there?
Yeah, it's not going to be as easy as, maybe some people's path. Obviously, some people have a lot of financial support. Some people can, just do as they choose and kind of move up the ranks 1 year at a time. It's going to be a lot of growing for everyone, for me, for the team, for the whole organization. And, I'm happy to be a part of that and hopefully help that team grow and make it what they want it to become. So, we're going to take it slowly and just keep trying to win races at what we're doing. And if those wins come, and, we'll keep moving along and keep expanding.
Okay, so I feel like the outsider here because you know where you want to go, and Adam seems to know where you want to go. We better tell the other viewers, we talking cup, we talking the whole route to the top here. Is that what we're talking about, boys?
Yeah,
that was my assumption.
For sure. I mean, I think that's been my dream, and that's still my goal. Obviously, we got to make the ARCA start at Daytona. Didn't go exactly how we planned, but just taking it one step at a time, and hopefully I get a couple more ARCA starts under my belt this year. That'd be really great, and and in the works with the Rhett Jones group. So I mean, you know, but I love super late model racing and even pro late model racing. So you know, I want to move up the ranks and see where I can go with it, but at the same time, I love what I'm doing right now, and you know, I really wouldn't change it for the world.
Right on, Kyle. I don't want to keep you much longer. We appreciate you coming on. I've got nothing more for you except to ask where do you race next?
Next race is April 5th in Dominion, Virginia, with the ASA Stars National Tour. It's Appalachian Sucker Punch 250. So excited for that one coming up, and we're gonna be strong with our APC Auto Parts Centers number 30. We tested there 2 weeks ago, so it's a real fun place. Fast track with tons of grip, so it should put on a good show.
Okay, I'm going to ask you one hard one, and then you can go. Are you going to be at Talladega, yes or no? And when will we see you in Ontario racing this summer? Because we know you're not going to be dedicated to the points with the APC series.
Yeah, we'll go with possibly on the Talladega. I'm hoping so, but obviously me and Cletus's cars came back to the shop in pretty rough shape. So we were hard at work at it the last 2 weeks I was down there with the guys, and we're still working at it, but I'll say possibly for now, and then we've got I'm not going anywhere in Canada. I'm still going to be up here lots. I've got plans in the works for the APC series, and you'll probably see me at Sunset a week or two before the APC season opener. So you'll see me lots in Canada racing my pro, and you know, it's excited for the Canadian season to kick off.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, enjoy your time between now and the first weekend in April, and good luck in Virginia.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks, Kyle. Once again, great to get these young superstars on to talk with us. Damn, semi-weekly, it seems like, as they keep making these great runs. Back to what our sponsor discussion before we jump in with the veteran Dave McNight here. You know, Adam, some teams have 10 sponsors on their cars. So someone's always going to get left out. If you just expect us to talk about all the sponsors just because you put a sticker on the car, well, that doesn't really work out very well either. I like to say that our doors are always open and give us something interesting to talk about. For example, okay, Mark DeSilva, who watches this, he sent us a couple weeks ago. It was Jib's 15th anniversary. Can we get a plug-in for our sponsor, Jibs? Hell yeah, we can. That's a great story. That's timely. It makes sense. There's a lot of great things to that. So help us tie in your sponsor connections. Send us a message like, hey, there's nothing we love more than a Friday than when someone says, hey, I got my sponsors here for the first time. Can you mention XYZ company? Heck yeah, we can. We'll give them a big warm welcome. Hopefully they're enjoying their time. Or, hey, my sponsor has a barbecue tomorrow. Or, hey, my sponsor donated 10,000 pounds of food to the food bank. These are all great things that help us really tie the whole story together. And we have to be entertaining. People don't just tune in to hear us rhyme off a bunch of sponsors and rattle it off, and it just gets lost in the din of the whole thing if it's not done creatively. And I will just say, this is the manager of Osh Weekend Speedway. We give you umpteen other ways. You can do autographs behind the grandstands. You can use our social media. You tag the Speedway. We're doing all the stuff we can. But if you're taking money from a sponsor solely on hearing it come out of Adam, Greg, and Clinton's mouth on Friday, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, you do need to do a little more than that. And I think it's fair to say we all have a certain style. And part of mine, I probably speak more slowly than a lot of announcers do. And I don't want to speed that up because getting excited doesn't mean talking faster. That's the easiest go-to, but all you do is jumble words. All I do, rather, is jumble words and people can't understand. There's people who do their job a different style. Take Johnny Gibson, take Brendan Doherty. They can reel off a lot of announcers or a lot of sponsors in the nature of what they do and saying it very quickly. That's not my jam. And because of the stream, because it needs entertainment value. I struggle to find the balance between, okay, let's be entertaining and informative. Not a critique on what they do, just a fact, Clinton, that I couldn't do it that way. It's not my skill set. So
yeah, I think
that's one of them.
Even when NASCAR goes from the Fox booth to the NBC booth, there's difference of opinions on whether those announcers are good, whether that style's good. Everybody likes somebody different for different reasons. But I think we're at 30,000 views a week because we are entertaining. It's not just solely about, the hard stats and the hard sponsors. We're entertaining. And that's what's getting us where we need to be. Now, it's definitely a delicate balance. It's just one of those things that, who are the sponsors, who are the announcers really working for? In all the discussions, Adam, and all the comments I saw in the pre-show question we asked, only one comment said sponsors. Everybody else was entertain them. You should, just to cap this off, tell them what the Dave Mooney answer is.
Well, we'll get to that by the end. I want to give someone a chance to get the answer right. We're not going to cap this off until after we talk to Dave McNight, because nobody has gotten the answer right yet. The answer is out there. Even though everything that people have said is valid, entertainment is the main thing. We've got to be, and someone talked about Greg and I and the banter we have all season long. It's like every week is kind of a continuation of the week before. But hopefully, well, JR, when you fight where I can see you, I appreciate it, and it's easy to call. But we try, like Greg and I tried it. It's sort of a soap opera, right? It's week after week after week. I want you to show up. If you don't show up till August, I still hope you have a good time. There's not many skill testing questions you need answered to catch you up to speed. But if you're there every Friday, we want you. It can't be the same shit week after week.
No, I agree. That's another way to put it, too. We have to tell fresh stories every week because we do have the same viewers every week. And the best thing about it is we know all the racers that are racing Saturday and Sunday are watching us on a Friday. And that's super cool for us. I love it knowing everybody's just chilling. Except for the Delaware racers. They have their own thing. They watch us Saturday morning. That's okay.
That's all.
J.R. Fitzpatrick talked about fights. J.R. is one of Jack, my camera kid's favorite drivers. And Jack's biggest thing is to catch a fight at the races. So if J.R. could throw down while Jack's there, that would be like the happy Christmas at our house for my kid.
You want to know how smart J.R. Fitzpatrick is? So on his crew over the years, there have been former football players. There's been 7-foot-tall jackmen. Like, they have behemoths on his crew. And JR's so smart, his crew was in turn 2 at Kawartha. Turn 2. He stopped in turn 4 to get in a fight with the whole pit crew. Left all of his enforcers were over in turn 2 in their pit box, and JR is climbing out of his car in turn 4 to go after another well-stocked crew.
I'll take that over a hold me back pussy any day. Stand in front of his crew guys. Don't hold me back. Come on, man. Just jump in there.
No,
Let's go.
He got right in there.
Jack was pissed at Autumn Colors when Corey McAllister jumped out and flipped out and the officials got in the way. Jack was like, what were they doing? They were so close to having it on. Let's bring in Dave McNight. He's heard enough of our tomfoolery enough. Dave, you got us? You there, sir? Maybe not.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
we
got
can
you.
hear you.
We're a bit delayed.
Oh, I'm here. Yeah,
We got you.
I'm on my
How's-
hotspot. Okay.
How's it going, sir? I see you're getting
How's
ready. Let's
everything?
set this up a
Good.
bit.
Good guy.
So, Dave, they've got this new car. That's for Matt Billings behind you. Dave's still going to race the Super, but Matt Billings is going to drive this 360 Sprint for the team this year. Tell us how that came together, Dave.
Well, guys, Clint, Adam, what kind of happened was, we had a deal with Dale Curran last year, and, with Gary owning the race team, and with his health and age, we wanted to slow down a little bit. And I understand the Kearns wanted to run more, which is great for him. But that really wasn't on our agenda. So when Ryan Hunsinger sold his car and bought a house and had a mortgage, things kind of changed a little bit, and Matt was sitting at the sideline. So I had a discussion with Ryan, and we talked about Matt possibly driving this car. I still like to drive, but I just feel at this time of my life, trying to learn the dirt now at 66 years old, it's getting a little difficult. I'm going to stick to what I know and let Matt stick to what he knows. And I think with the knowledge from Ryan for setup and the knowledge that Matt has of driving, with his butt, I think we'll have a competitive team, no doubt.
Man, Dave, you talk about yourself, Ryan Hunsinger, and Matt Billings. That's multiple people with multiple generations of racer behind them. That's a pretty cool race team. Like, talk about your history and what all you've been through in the racing scene, and how cool is it to get together with a couple other people that have a long racing history as well? There's got to be a lot of appreciation in that garage for the sport.
Yeah, I go back, back in the days of go-karts, and, I got started back then and then moved up through the series and into Can-Am midgets. And, I had some fun driving late model stock cars with my dad back in the day. And, one thing led to another, and we just got to be really good behind the wheel. And my dad gave me the opportunity by purchasing my first midget car. And, the second year we ran, we took the championship. And I think the third or fourth year we ran, we'd won a ton of races. Got an opportunity through Ron Mucci and Mucci Motor Truck. And also my first super modified ride was with a friend of mine, Alan Janet Bush. But I think the big opportunity came when Ron Mucci gave me a call one night at home and asked me to come down and drive this car. So that was pretty much changed for me at the time. The Mucci ride was strong for a lot of years. We'd won a lot of races, and Ron ran into some financial issues, and we parted ways. And I had an opportunity with Lichty's, and I met up with Brad. I really just wanted to drive a classic down at Oswego Speedway, which you guys all know. And I remember having the conversation with Brad and his brother Mike, not his son Mike. And the conversation was basically, McKnight had called and he wants to drive our super classic. And the conversation was, well, he wrecks a lot of shit. So I don't know if we want him driving a car. But Brad was very positive and said I'd like to stick him in the car. And, one thing led to another. And we had a good run classic until we broke, and then had another good run at Berlin, Michigan Speedway the weekend after, actually leading the race and lost the fuel pump. So after we got through those few races, Brad had offered me a ride permanently, and then he talked to me about building race cars for him, and that's where we went from there. So everything that Lichty's have today as far as supers go, other than the current car that they have with the 37-degree layover motor, is equipment that I had built for them. So pretty proud to say we won a lot of races. We won a lot of championships. And you feel pretty good when it's stuff that you make on your own, That
was my question for you next, Dave. Talk a bit about what it's like to be in a bolt-on purchase world when you still make all your own stuff. So most of these guys are just walking in a speed shop, buying the parts. You still come from that era where you're building stuff. If you break it, you're going to fix it by rebuilding this and machining the parts yourself. How is that working out for you guys? And I know it's frustrating sometimes when you get, other drivers and you start working with them and they're like, well, just buy it. And you're like, well, we can make it.
Right. Well, the whole sprint car thing, really, guys, this whole sprint car challenge thing for myself really came into play during the pandemic. We didn't have the opportunity to go across the border and race with COVID. And it just happened. I came home to the shop one night and Gary had purchased a sprint car. So that's where that all kind of happens, and that's why we are where we are today. But getting back to your question, Clint, I think for us, it's just been the nature of our beast. Super modifieds are not something you can go down to the corner store and buy, a steering arm or this or that, because everybody's running their own stuff. It's all custom made, right? So very difficult to get that. In the sprint car world, everybody just goes to the corner store and buys it. And in some cases, yeah, it's cheaper and faster. The way I see it today, right now with tariffs and everything that's going on, it's going to really inflate some of the costs for a lot of the teams. And, some of the teams that have unlimited budgets, it's not going to be that much of a deficit. But for a lot of these guys that run out of their garage, that axle that they crunched and would just go buy a new one may not be so high on the to-do list of just going to get it. They may be looking for other avenues to get this stuff repaired. So, I was talking to Nathan just the other day, and we look at roof wings and nose wings, and we do all our own repairs unless they're totally destroyed. We're looking at over $2,000 for now for a pair of wings, when it was like $1,300. So that's a substantial increase for a lot of race teams. And you know how fast you can go through roof wings in this division, right? You could be upside down. I know myself, I went through a few starting, right? So, but so for us right now, I think it's going to be a win-win for us. Just the fact that we have a complete machine shop here and we're able to build our own stuff and do a lot of things like the car behind us. We've done pretty much 85% of the work on this car with very little purchase. So pretty proud of that. Pretty proud of Ryan and Matt and everybody here working away, getting this thing put together.
So let me get this right, Dave. You're going to be driving the Super Modified this summer, correct?
That is correct. So we're looking at myself, Matt, Gary, and Ryan. We looked at the schedule. We're definitely going to go to Delaware, Lancaster. We're looking at Caraway in November if everything goes okay, and then we're looking at 3 complete races in Oswego. And that's probably going to be the till for me as far as the asphalt car goes. And in Matt's case, we're going to do a little bit more running with Matt. We for sure want to be there for the World Outlaw races. That's why we've gone with the tether package and we put the onboard fire system in the car. We want to go and compete in that race, and the one out in, we plan to come up to Oswego and run, and then I can look at the big money races. We can pick and choose where we want to run because, Matt's got the seat time where I don't. So it should be a lot better for us to be competitive.
And will you have as much fun, Dave? The reason I was getting at that was you're working on the sprint cars. You might not even be there if they crash it, but you'll be there to have to fix it and put it back together.
Yeah, it's you know what? It's definitely a change in my life, considering being a driver for a lot of years. But like anything, you can't do it forever. And if I was younger and had some more time to drive the car and learn how it all works, I'd probably stick at it. But it's just not in the cards. I think this is a good time to step aside and let somebody drive it that has the talent and can get the job done. As far as the rest of it goes, I can put a good car underneath them, and I know Ryan's going to have the right setup for them. And, you've seen those two guys work together last year in a crate car, very competitive when they came and ran. So I'm excited. I'm excited for Matt, excited for Ryan. I'm excited for Gary Morton and everybody, So, hey, I think we'll be competitive. Hopefully we can come out and, give Dylan Westbrook and all those guys a run for the money, right? That's why we're coming. We got a brand new engine coming. It should be here in a couple weeks. So we're all pretty excited.
Dave, in closing, I know we talked a little bit about Gary, but just want to talk about he's been instrumental in this Super side of things for you. He bought the sprint car. Let's show this yellow Super again. For our viewers, we talk a lot about sprint cars and late models around here, but this is this is unique for our viewers who may not know. What kind of, tell us about the motor and how this whole thing, these are custom built, pretty much the closest thing you can get to an Indy car, right?
Yeah, this car, we originally bought this chassis from Howie Lane down in New England. And this car came to us with solid axle car, and it was a torsion bar car. And we literally, the only thing that's original on the car is the roll cage, and everything else has been refabricated to meet the new thing that we want to do. As far as the engine goes, the motor's a 460 big block on alcohol. The motor that was in the car last time we dynoed with this head package that's on it currently, this RPM. So the car is roughly just over 1,800 pounds, and it's quite the rush to drive. Like the sprint car really, the acceleration is kind of amazing. When I first got into the 360, and I found that it was pretty stout when the tracks were really tacky. When the tracks fell off and they got, slicked up, horsepower wasn't such a big thing, and the car really didn't have the grunt because you really couldn't use the horsepower because you could never get it hooked to the speedway. But the Super, it's not like that. Super, the grunt's always there. Being blacktop and asphalt, it's just a different feeling all the time. So, but I'm happy to be with Matt and Ryan, and I'm excited about the season coming up. We're not going to run a full season, but we definitely are going to run quite a few shows up at Oswego and other places, and I'm looking forward to Matt wheeling this thing. Can't wait to get going, actually. But we still got another month or so to go, but lots of time to get it right.
That's awesome, Dave. Thanks for hanging out with us and talking to us tonight. It's always a pleasure to chat with you, and look forward to seeing you at the races.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Clinton. Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Have a good night. Say hi to the boys in the shop there. I think it was Ryan Hunsinger moseying around the back there. Always great, man. Dave's a super gentleman. If you ever get a chance to talk to him in the pits, definitely worth 10 minutes of your time. And he's done a lot of stuff, man. He spending half an hour at Motor Inn with him was just cool. Had all kinds of great stuff to say. And it's awesome to see them upgrade, because let's face it, they got the shit kicked out of them on the dirt for a couple of years there, as Dave said, trying to learn. So for them to come back now with Matt Billings and Ryan Hunsinger and a fresh 360 and going for the Outlaws, that's another local car we didn't have chalked up on our roster. So that's great, man. Great to see them.
When he talked about that guy crashes a lot of shit, I've watched Dave. I've seen a couple of his crashes in super modifieds that I didn't think he was going to climb out of the car. And the ones I can remember were never his fault. I remember he had a wing failure. My God, halfway down the straightaway, the wing broke and sent him careening into the wall. The speed with which he hit that wall, it was jarring. But his physical fitness is a big deal, so that plays a huge role in him being able to climb out from some of these mishaps and not be injured.
Super Modifieds head into Delaware early in the season. Check out their schedule if you want to go out and see these rocket ships make their way around. How many, so we can get back, that could turn into a long discussion too. That's just a discussion of how many streams does a race team or race fan need to stay up to speed. It's gotten a bit out of control. But let's jump into a few other things. Let's do some rapid fire stuff. If we got time, we'll come back to that one because we can always save that.
Well, someone did post the answer. I want to give them credit.
Oh, okay.
Adrian K came in and said, "Hey, I'm a little bit late to the party," and I can't scroll down to his comment, but the gist of it is the announcer's number one job is to make fans buy a ticket for next week. Get them to come back out. And the reason it's more important now than ever is because we have the streams. So not only do we talk to the people in the stands, and we need to make it exciting enough, remind them what's coming up, So all of the things are important, all of the stories, all of the excitement, all of the information, it's all important. But the number one job is to make sure people know they've got to be there the next week. And with the stream, we have the opportunity to try to get people from their homes to come out to the track next. And sometimes, in the case of that family from New York State, Clinton, that came up and had a big sign that they watch us every Friday, sometimes it's one trip a year. But that's the job that we do. Make them want to come out one time a year. That's the push. That is our job. That's what we're there to do.
Yeah. Like Randy Howard wrote in the comments here, hey, I'll check in from South Central Texas. Can't wait to get through the insanity till G-Force Racing starts. So, Randy, if you're in Ontario, I bet he's going to try and get to Ohsweken Speedway because he's seen it. He's been immersed. It now becomes a destination. And, yeah, our goal on the stream has never been to just let everybody sit home. It's to entice, 100 people may sit home, but we have 29,900 others we're trying to get out there. So,
and you'd learn multiple ways to skin that cat. If you can't get people to come to the races, or if you want to put such a good product on a stream, then monetize it, sell advertising. Right, and that's where the Ohsweken Speedway does a great job of selling advertising packages, because if you can, for example, Speedway sales of advertising and hospitality and all that are well into six figures. So let's just use the number $100,000, even though that's a fraction of what gets sold. How many people do you have to put in the stands to make up $100,000?
Yeah, a lot.
At $20 a ticket, that's a lot of people. So if you're selling that advertising, we still want people to come to the track. Don't get me wrong; it's the best way to enjoy the product. But if you're going to stay home and watch, we're going to sell you shit. We're going to have a restart zone with a sponsor. We're going to have a finish line with us. We don't have a finish line. We're going to have billboards. We're going to have all of these things that add up. So someone might say, I'm not supporting the track because I just sit home and watch. I'm not going to come to the track anymore. You are supporting. You're one of the 30,000 people watching that justify the amount we can charge for a billboard or for an advertisement.
I like when you mansplain things to me. It makes sense. All right. Hey, run that clip, Spencer. Do you know who this is for? Okay, so I saw this today. Cool video. Cool social post.
Is it Ryan Dyson?
No.
Huh.
Okay,
Who is it?
That's my point. I don't know. Didn't say in the social media post. Didn't. Now, is that the point? I've come to find out who it is, but I had to go to 3 other sources to deduce who it was.
Now,
so that's my
that number has always been a DJ Kennington number.
It is a Kennington car. So it's going to be Ryan Vargas with DJ Kennington. But my complaint is you've made this great promo thing, but nowhere in the post did it even say who it was. And I want to know. It's just one of those pet peeves I have. Like, if you're putting out a release or a poster or something, we need the 5 W's, people. We need to know the who, what, when, why, how. It's just,
You screwed up the 5 W's.
You
gave 4 W's and an H.
What, when, why, where.
Who, what, where, when, why. Although how is very important.
Who. I was missing who. All right. Rock screens and why. At Ohsweken Speedway, we've taken shit on all our big tour events because we mandate a 2x2 rock screen. Show the Aaron Reitzel pictures or video, Spencer. We've got 2 pics and 1 video. So this is the last picture. Okay, so there's the visor. A rock came through, busted up his face. He came back a couple days later to win the feature, which that's cool. Your busted thing. There's his face. So Reitzel had no rock screen on the car, which is an option with the high limit and the Outlaws. A lot of series don't mandate a rock screen in front of the driver. A giant rock came through, busted his visor, broke his nose, cut his face open. thankfully he was able to get back to it. Run the video, Spencer, if you can.
There was a rock about that big from what we saw in the helmet, and it came off Corey Day's car probably going 100-something backwards, and then I was going 100-something the other way. So I think it was just best case scenario where it hit everything, so it just went through. Luckily, all in all, it got me straight right here, and just a few stitches. Thank God didn't get me in my eye either way. It's just one of those freak deals we don't really see, but super happy to have MedStar. I think that says a whole lot for the High Limit Series, having them out here every night, and I think that's just where we are above other series, is having them out there where they know and they're prepared for stuff like that, and it's
so pretty wild though, and at our big events, probably not.
That's what blows my mind. It's like old hockey players not wearing helmets and then getting grandfathered in.
What are the chances of another one taking his eye out? He got it. He made it through, and that was probably the only rock he takes for his whole career. But yeah, so at Oshweekend, at our big events, when we even have the GLSS and the Empire Super Sprints and everybody comes in, we have an abundance. Like Nathan Ackland will bring some, Mike Emhoff will bring some. We just try to make sure that they have them. Rock screen was in, Brennan, as it should be. But even then, some of the rock screens they allow Adam are just like 4 straight bars. It ain't going to catch shit, really. It may knock it down a bit, but still. So that was just that. All right. 2 things from the picture drop, Spencer, if I can jump to that. First off, Oshweekend Speedway announces new mini stock sponsor. I want to thank HRW for what they've done. But Installation has stepped up to a 5-year program here, so they'll now be known as the Installation Oshweekend Mini Stocks. So I want to welcome Adam and his deal, and of course they were big sponsors of the Duel on the Dirt. Well, the Duel on the Dirt, now they have moved away from the Duel on the Dirt and wanted to keep all their investment back at Oshweekend. Alex is a big, huge supporter of that. And now we're proud to announce, schedule coming out in a big press release will be out later in this week. We're proud to announce that the APC has come on as the Duel on the Dirt sponsor. It makes sense with their stores across Ontario. A lot of the dirt teams, even our own Ryan Beagle and Justin Ramsey from Brighton, all have APC all over the car and hood, so we're excited to invite that back. We have one more meeting with Will from Buxton. We hope to do that tomorrow to finalize his dates, and then we can figure this whole thing out and get the everybody out. So the Duel on Dirt is alive and well, and I want to thank APC Stores for coming on board and getting behind these 2 great dirt divisions for mini stocks and thunder stocks. I know there's been a lot of questions about that. Whew. Now, Adam, where do you want to go? Do you want to go to pictures or videos?
Oh, I love multiple choice. Videos. I like the videos.
Let me tell you, I woke up to a message from Spencer today that said he's going to have to start filtering or putting a limit on the number of videos because I overloaded the dump box this week.
Listen, you 2 have already filtered the dump box because I'm still not allowed in it.
You send anything you want that gets on here.
Screw both of you.
You don't participate. And you like it that way. If I'm not allowed, I don't. You like it that way. You like not. Don't even pretend that you're left out and you care a little bit. Because you don't care at all. All right. Can we roll the race car through the year span? I just thought that this was a great kickoff. AI is an amazing thing when it works great. Here's a view of racing over the years.
It wasn't until the 1970s they finally put some rubber on these damn things.
Yeah. And just watch the changes in the last 20 years. It's wild. Man, the Halos change it so much. Oh, we're going into the future now. Okay, stop it. I don't want to go that far. I didn't even look. I got to like 1970 and just sent it to the dump.
They were on skinny tires until the 70s.
Yeah, somebody finally, hey, maybe we should put some rubber on these cars. They're watching the Sprint Car Brethren. What'd you say, Spencer? Oh, it sounded like McKnight's camera there for a minute. I thought it was choppy as heck in our ears. Let's keep going. What else we got?
Let's look at the 16. Under brakes.
Just on the brakes. Look how close it is to Hayden Schultz.
It almost took him out. I mean, look at how
No!
Wow.
he has and undercut him there. That is so close. And there's your save of the day.
Woo! That was a good one.
Have
You
you
got some good ones today.
Have we talked about the airbag suits?
No, I saw it demonstrated, though. For the bikes?
So, yeah, I was watching Daytona, the flat track motorcycles, and they have a female division. And the one girl went down in a crash, the airbag suit deployed, but she wanted to get back and race. So her crew guy came up to her and bear hugged her to squeeze the air out of the suit because they have 2 charges in them. And the very next lap, she smoked the outside wall. Suit inflated again.
That's cool. I wonder
That's
for long
pretty
to see
neat.
that in go-karts. You know, the go-karts, Daytonas, stuff like that. It's pretty wild. All right, what else we got, Spence? Screwdriver test. For those new to dirt, this is something Glenn Steyer's, you may see him do. Zigger and the guys, and this is even race teams will go up. This is the way they check, kind of like it was put to me like when your grandma would stick a toothpick in the cake to see if it's done or not. This shows you how far the moisture is sunk down in the track. So Glenn will do that. You'll see the track crew do it sometimes. So if you ever see him sticking a long screwdriver down the track, it's called the screwdriver test. Way to check the moisture in the layers of the track in the first 18 inches. What else we got? Okay, this is a multiple crash. Look at this. This one goes into the grandstands, and I think we got 2 videos of this. So Adam, we are constantly saying, don't stand at the fence. Pay attention at all times. Watch for flying everything. It's a sign we have it on weekend. Oh, just missed those people.
Yeah.
Show that other video again, Spencer. It nearly took them out. It was a survivor. Watch it. Wow. Okay, that's enough.
I believe in natural selection, Clinton, and that's why I don't tell people to not stand by the fence.
I've had dreams, a recurring dream. You know, outside Glenn Steyer's front yard where we have like the VIP tent sometimes and the Fresh Stone fan zone there. I've had nightmares many years of looking up and seeing a sprint car coming over the fence at me in that one particular spot. So I try not to be in that area at all when the race cars are out there. It's like an OCD superstition I have. I'm like, I'm not living this dream. You'll never find me in that part of the yard at Oshweek's View when the cars are on the track ever. It's just a nasty dream sequence I have that I don't want to live out. What's on the docket next?
Thanks to the black painted wires, we can see more clearly. This
is cool. You know, we see our dirt stock teams putting this screen in front of the car, but look at the difference if you paint it black. I just thought it was neat. Somehow it blocks the light. Now, does this mean we should be painting all the Speedway fences black? I mean, Merrittville's was for years, I think.
It must.
I thought that's a neat thing. I think rolling wheels.
You know, it does make sense because black absorbs all light, doesn't it?
I just thought that was a very clear demonstration. So if you're a mini stock or a street stock team on the dirt, or even a sprint car guy with your rock screen, it should probably be painted black. What else?
So all of you that chose the 16th of March.
Okay, stop this, Spencer. Let's come back to this. We show the picture that's associated with it. So this is a late model car that they put out on the ice, and I originally thought it was something that someone had left out there. And it's Monomy, Wisconsin. It's a fundraiser for the Lions Club. So it's called the Clunker. basically drop or something. So when the ice is thick, they put a car out there, a clunker. This year they put a dirt late model for the last couple of years, I guess, and they take pool bets to see when it will fall through the ice. And that's how the Lions Club raises charity for the community. So roll the video now, Spencer.
So all of you that chose the 16th of March, guess what? You're the prognosticators of prognosticators. You knew exactly when the car would go down.
So I thought that was just kind of a neat fundraiser. The racetrack, put a late model out there, see what something Brighton could do maybe, but it was interesting. For environmental reasons, doesn't have an engine, doesn't have oil in it, and they tow it out every spring and do it again. So I just thought it was kind of a neat thing. But you see a late model out on the ice, and you're like, what the hell is going on? Dug a bit deeper, found out the true story. What's next? Mino. This is neat. This is how they're cooling the brakes in NASCAR now. They have adapted DeWalt fans that fit right in the hubs. Show it again, Spencer. I thought that was pretty wild. Just showing the innovation at work.
Huh. Yeah, that is cool innovation.
Never seen that before. Menominee. All right, one more. Just the pure, like a big rig with a stuck throttle out of control. It looks like a cartoon when he goes through that wall. Show it one more time. And the scream, yes. Classic.
What do they call it when a diesel engine does that?
It diesels.
With a cab over, my goodness.
Yeah.
That driver's life passed before their eyes.
My buddy Algis, it was a motorcycle racer, and we would have been right around college age. And Algis bought a Volkswagen Jetta. Man, this thing was clean. Went for our first ride in it. Got over. We were actually at, I remember where, we were at Barton and Parkdale. And this thing started dieseling at him. So if you don't know what dieseling is, basically the non-mechanical side of it is you have bad set of piston rings. Because it's diesel, the glow plug is always glowing. And the oil is seeping up past the rings and acting like a fuel. And this motor just runs away. And it is the biggest cloud of diesel smoke you've ever seen. And all of a sudden when it stopped, it just went, poof, stopped. And I looked at him like, do we drive this away? It was
right.
Crazy. And we drove in, the thing drove great. And then it dieseled on him a week later and he had to end up getting rid of it. But yeah, crazy. If you've never seen it as well. It actually happened to the late model there in Florida, right? Earlier in the year. And it really caught fire and took off. We showed the video here.
That's right. That's right. But it, obviously not a diesel.
Just to be clear, I sent a video in today. And Spencer said, we've seen the thermal video twice already. I said, my bad. Just delete. Move on. All right, picture drop.
You didn't send in Gary Collins' offering?
Which one was that?
He sent it last week, I think, right after the show.
I'll have to find it and get it.
It was another one of those go-kart races.
Oh, the downhill one. Yeah. The unmotorized, the hill deal.
We've got.
All right.
So
picture drop.
We've got to do this. We've got to set this up maybe for the second day of the Outlaws during the day at the track. We got to do some really stupid things for fun.
Do we? Like what?
We'll have a captive audience, right? People got nowhere to go. I don't know. We're just gonna have to figure stuff out. Stuff that questionable choices will need to be made.
Fair enough. All right, we got some pictures to look at. Not too many of them. In no particular order. Roll it. What does that mean to you, Adam?
Wow. Yeah, I saw that posted this week. So many years of memory.
Yeah, that an ugly tunnel under the backstretch at Syracuse has so many memories for so many people. Like, we camped right outside that. That was the entrance into the infield. As soon as you
Yep.
see it, it's a iconic pick. Like, man, I don't know how many beers I hoodied through that tunnel and back over the years.
Some of the comments on that picture were phenomenal. The one person said it so well. I can wear a hat, a hood, have my hood over my head and my jacket, and still one of the drips off of that walking under that would find the back of my neck and freeze me. And it's so true. How many times did you get caught by a freezing cold drip off of that damn rafters above you?
Absolutely. Or trying to get through there with like a dually, and it was like butter up the mirrors and skid it through there, and so many people went through there. Scott McPhail says tricycle race. I hope he's talking about it Rush Weekend on the Thursday afternoon, because now we're talking. We're getting closer to a good plan there. All right, what else, Spencer?
I'm in.
Okay, I got two pictures like this, Adam. So, hey, when Joe Bob needs body parts, sometimes they just have to come off the tractor combine. Steel is steel, buddy. Those two, back and forth. So look at this. Stole the aluminum siding off the barn. Jed did in the 18. And go back to the other one. He took the side off the International 1460 Axle Flow combine that they used to make the hay with. And hold on.
That's awesome.
Go back to the other one. So what is on the roof of this? Is that a boat? Is that like the top of a boat? Like the steering part of a boat? Is it the cockpit from a boat? Is that the top of a truck camper that you would put on the back of a pickup truck in the 70s? What's going on there?
And what the hell's holding it?
Yeah.
What's holding it up?
Bit of duct tape and some uprights. All right, go to the other one. So he took the siding and the roof. But the nose made it through last week. So they still got the polypropylene nose because we still have to tell everybody it's a Monte Carlo in some way. That's just awesome. I think some of the comments were run what you shouldn't have brung, I think was the name of the class. What else, Spencer? An early Tesla. This, Adam, is something that a lot of regular fans may not know until you get into the backseat of maybe the two-seater. But look at the geometry on these sprint cars. Wheels are square. The whole chassis is what we call winged over in sprint car racing. And when you get going at speed, the wing pushes the car over. And the sprint cars, even this weekend, are tilted over to the left like this. And our cameras don't show it a lot of times. And they're going by so fast you don't notice it. But I want our fans to watch this. Look for a car that's winged over. And the Outlaws will be wildly winged over with those 410 motors. But I just thought that was a great interpretation of how these cars really roll. Adam, I rode in the back of the two-seater. You can really feel it in the two-seater Rush Weekend Speedway. That was the first thing I got realizing is you don't realize how winged over these cars are down the straightaways. Pretty neat.
Right on.
What else, Spencer? You know what that is, Adam?
No. It's the remains of a building. Oh, no.
Yeah, so they finally demoed the Burger Barn. We're waiting on final word from Jan. What's going to happen with that? I can't see them not rebuilding. The place is booming, every weekend. Ooh, that's a good question. Jonathan just gave us a good zinger. Let's get through these pictures. We'll get back to that. Jonathan Arts asks, what event are we most looking forward to commenting or running this year with G-Force? Think about that when we look at these last couple pictures. What do you got? Okay, so Adam, you've seen us do a fuel burn-off, right? So you have a massive fuel spill. You can't clean it up on the dirt. We just light it on fire. This was at a Yankees baseball game way, way back. The field got overrun after a rain delay, so they doused it with gasoline and lit the field on fire to dry it. So that's a tie
You
in a
know-
race because sometimes we have done that. We did that at the last Humberstone race. Yeah, Daytona did it by accident.
Juan Pablo Montoya did that, but he didn't mean to.
Answer John's question because he's bigger than you.
I'm going to take the lame answer. I'm always looking forward to the next one.
Oh, you're such a cop-out.
Whatever's up. Listen, man, tell me I'm wrong. Have you ever heard me at a racetrack when I don't sound like I'm having a good time? Take me to the next race.
That's a bad question for me to ask. You show up miserable every week.
I'm only miserable when you come around. Once you leave the tower, I'm good.
This is fair. I'm not even upset about that at all. Wow. For me, taking a page out of your book, I should be looking forward to the Outlaws because I shouldn't be dreading all of these big events away. I'm excited, but there's lots of concern there. I think the one race that I'm really looking forward to this summer is our summer-spring shootout at Oshweekend because I think it's a big paying race on a Friday when we have the ESS, GLSS, our guys together. It's not quite Nationals weekend. I'm fairly excited about that. Man, I do like going to the APC stuff. It's a lot of fun. Some of the Delaware races because we only get to go there a couple times because of my deal at Oshweekend.
There's something.
I would say that
there's something cool about almost every place we go. Right? Like Delaware, like you said, Delaware's got a real vibe to it. Sauble Speedway has a feel that only Sauble Speedway has. And they just put out the Jeff Cassidy Memorial Race information. We'll talk about that next week because I only just got a glance at it before we started this show.
Sauble, I like Sauble. Sauble, we've turned into a vacation with us and the kids the last few years. It's been a good spot to go to. Hanging out with Sauble Falls, I know that's one of your favorite spots. So that's always nice mid-season to get up there in August when it's nice and spend some time camping and relaxing. There's lots of things, but yeah, those are a couple for me. A couple big events. Let's get Jonathan on here. John, let's work on getting you on here in the next couple weeks. Yeah, Sunset, that's always a great weekend for us because it kicks off our kind of, we do Oshweekend, Sunset that weekend and get rolling. But no Oshweekend this week because we'll be done on the Friday. So I guess that's probably the weekend I'm looking most forward to. For Big Victoria Day because you got Oshweekend Wednesday, Thursday. We don't know where we're going to be the rest of the weekend other than APC. So excited about that. We're almost done, bud.
Almost?
Now we're done.
And Peterborough. We got to throw love at Peterborough. They're brightening. Like I said, everywhere we go, there's something to look forward to about every venue we go to and all the races.
I don't mind a Saturday night off either. I know you'll go to Flamborough or check out a race. I like going back to my old stomping grounds, Merrittville, on a Saturday when I could be a race fan and tip a couple cold ones and just shoot the bullshit and go home when I've had enough. Those are good nights. You saw 3 features. Don't need to see the other 2. I can go. That's those are some fun deals. Well, we get into a crazy time here. They finally called the election, Adam. So I'm not going to get into that too much. But just remember, one party is out there against everything, global carbon footprint. Our racing is a disaster to them. Talk to your kids. See, and I say that because, it's the kids' generation that's going to be affected by this decision. So, man, I'm consumed by it so hard. Yeah. It's so hard for me to keep my mouth shut on all that shit, but we have to. Hey, we'll see it. Yeah. Jonathan, I'm with you. Vote conservative because the liberals and their carbon footprint is going to kill all our stuff.
Attaboy, Jonathan. Yeah. Put him on the dirt.
Oh, here we go. That is cool. So that means Jonathan on me every week at Oshweekend. Nah, he'll go to Middleton because they're down by there. But either way, great program, both spots. We are live streaming every Thursday. Got some new partners. We're looking to upgrade that. I haven't even talked to Spencer about that, but we got some new partners involved. I want to move to a bit more of a advanced show. Spencer's pissing his pants right now, but we'll talk about that off the air. I just think we got to keep moving our Thursday program in the right direction. The guys did a great job, and continue making it work. Yes, Jonathan, you can fit in a dirt car. We had Rick
Who's
Spencer
the
Walt
sprint
ready
car
to get in
racer
one.
who's 6'10"?
Yeah, that's a new one to me.
I remember
Dale
watching
Blaney,
a race.
those guys were tall, right? How big was Dale Blaney?
Dale Blaney, I think, was 6'8".
Yeah. How big is John? 6'6"? So, yeah, Jack and Mac.
Yeah,
Jack and Mac show back in the booth on Thursdays. Yeah, 6'8". We got you, bud.
6'8". Wow.
All right, let's get out of here. I got something healthy to eat. I've been drinking water. I had a nightmare that I had to get in my suit at CTMP for Joel, the one that didn't fit me last year. And I wouldn't even be able to get my pinky toe in it this year. So I better get in shape.
I think he'll
Thanks,
be
everybody,
just
for hanging out
fine.
with us. It's always great when you hang out on Tuesday. Even on the weeks when we don't feel like it, we feel great at the end. So we appreciate you hanging out with us. And, if there's any topics you guys want to talk about, we just bullshit. We write the show at about 5 o'clock on Tuesday. So if you have anything to say before then, just let us know.
We need to start doing that every week. Put up some kind of question that people can give feedback on.
It's a great idea. We've only been saying that for 255 of 260 shows, but we never think about it until about 6:15 every Tuesday.
Well, that's why everything's always so fresh and unscripted.
All right, let's get out of here. It is.
Have a great week.
And I behaved this week. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Spencer. We appreciate everything you do. Thanks all you guys for hanging out. It's going to be a great racing season. We're going to have a great summer. Thanks. See you soon.